Hey, good morning, guys. Can you hear me? Everyone? Yeah. Hello. Good morning. Good morning, the people who is joining from India. And sorry, the good evening, the people who is joining from India, and good morning to the people who is joining from US. Guys, can you hear me? If you can hear me, you can simply uh, unmute your mic and you can speak with me. Otherwise, you can message me like yes or no. All you guys can see the screen. So is my screen visible to everyone? Are you able to see my screen? Still, you can type the message if you're not able to speak. Yeah, I got a message. Yes. Yeah, you can see the screen, right? Okay. So before starting the session today, the first question I got a couple of mails. What are the job opportunities we have? The main reason why we're doing this course only for job purpose, right? So there are a couple of people send a mail to me. So after completing this course, what kind of job opportunities we have in the market? So this is a main question. So to answer this question, so first I'm going to the India's topmost the job like portal, Naukri.com. So let's go here and look for that. Yeah, I'll come to everything, Pooja. I'm going to explain to you whether it's a technical or functional, everything. I just started the session. We'll come one by one. Okay? I'm going to answer almost all your questions. Once we complete the session today, you will get all the answers. Yeah. So the first India's topmost the job portal, if you come to the Naukri.com, simply type SAP HANA. You can see SAP HANA, you have a lot of job opportunities. SAP HANA developer, SAP HANA admin, and modeling consultant. Then you can see SAP HANA architect, SAP HANA modeling. So you can take it as SAP HANA consultant or modeling consultant or native HANA. So simply I'm selecting modeling. If you can search on this, you can see we have around 5,727 jobs available in the market. This is the India market. Okay, so it's like one of the top most paid the course or the subject or the skill set available in the market, even in India and other countries. And if you take especially in the US, one of the top paid jobs is nothing but SAP HANA, because every company required this one. And we're going to know today, we're going to get more details. What is SAP HANA? What is the purpose of it? What can we do with the HANA? We're going to learn a lot of things, right? So this is a job case in the market. If we talk about, do we have a jobs especially for the freshers? So I'm just moving this point to the little bit here, minimum 1 year experience. So minimum 1 year experience, if I keep it here, right? You can look for how many number of jobs available in the market. So this is a 2 years experience. We have a 1,541 jobs, and moving to 1 year experience, we have a 700 jobs around in 1 year experience, like 1 year to 0 experience. You can see all this is going to be HANA. If I put it as a freshers is nothing but 0 experience. I have around 300 jobs for freshers. So all type of people, whether you are experienced person, you're already working, you want to upskill yourself into your career growth, or you are a fresher, fresh passed out from the college, and you're looking for a career in SAP HANA, and do you have a jobs in the market? Yes, the answer is going to be yes for all these kind of questions. Let's look at for some jobs here. If you take it, this particular position, associate SAP consultant. This is going to be into which location? Uh, I'm not able to see the location that they put it in India. I think it is all everywhere, I believe. So it is a completely 0 experience. The per annum is going to be, it's around 4 lakhs per annum. So they're looking for SAP HANA, all the module consultant, including finance, FICO, HR, sales and distributions, production and planning, material management, and including HANA. See, so there are jobs available for even freshers as well. So we don't need to worry about, like, once I complete this particular course, and do you get a job in a market? So you have around 300 jobs available in the India for even for the freshers. It's a zero experience. We don't need any experience. And moreover, if you complete the training, you already trained. See, the companies, what they do is they recruit you as a fresher and they provide the training. In case if you're already trained, there will be like a preferences given to you in the time of interview. There are a bunch of people, for example, attending interview. Out of all those people, one person says, I'm trained in HANA. That's going to be biggest advantage, right? This is the India market, guys. And the people who is attending from US, if I go here, the US market, the top job site is going to be Dice. In the dice.com, you can open it and you can start looking for job search. When I go to the job search in the US market, SAP HANA, you can see is SAP HANA. We have SAP HANA consultants, around 500 jobs available in the market. But you can look for here, it is going to be recent jobs. I'm talking about recent. It's not all the jobs. You can see very recent, 21 hours, you can say 20 minutes, 1 day ago. So these are the very recent jobs, and you can look for what kind of jobs you are looking for. So we have a lot of jobs available, around 500 jobs available in the market. It's like recent jobs. So for the job purpose, we don't need to worry of this. Once you complete this course, you have a plenty of opportunities, and it completely depends on you how much serious you're taking any course, not only this course. If you try to learn any course, let's take it as Java or .NET or Oracle, take it any course. So simply completing a course, nobody will get a job. You have to spend a lot of your quality time for practicing. Definitely will gain skills and knowledge that leads you to get the job easily, right? This is all the questions related to the job opportunities. Now let's come back to the HANA. So when you talk about HANA, a lot of questions are there. So let me answer one by one. First, we'll find out and we discuss about what is a HANA, what is the purpose of it, and what we can do in HANA. So most of questions get answered. So first, let's introduce you SAP HANA. HANA stands for HANA. HANA stands for High Performance Analytical Appliance. High Performance Analytical Appliance. So what does it mean, high performance? So high performance in the sense, do you mean all other systems are not high performance? Of course, that's the reason they introduced you HANA. Okay. So you can see a image here. It's clearly shows you it's going to be a database system. It's a database system. HANA is a database system. So this course is going to be focusing on the people, especially for freshers who do not have any knowledge in IT or any other technologies, and the people would not have any kind of like a background in the computers. So I'm going to teach you from the scratch, like what is a database and like what is a table, what is a rows and columns. So we'll go like that. So end of the course, it will be benefited for everyone, experienced people as well as the freshers. I cannot say directly, hey guys, go to the websites and read what is a database. Go to the websites and read what is SQL. No, you're going to learn everything in this course. Okay, so let's come back to the topic here. This is going to be a database system. So what is a database system? A database system is nothing but, for example, let's say for example, everybody knows database. If you don't know what is a database is nothing but storage of data. Okay, that's well and good, sir, but what is a data? A data is nothing but facts and figures. What is the facts and figures? For example, I'll go to a big bazaar early morning every day. Okay, then I'll start purchasing, like I'll go to big bazaar, I'll say I need a milk packet. One packet I paid around like 50 rupees. This is a quantity and this is a price and this is a product, right? So the next day morning again I'll go to the big bazaar because I need a milk packet every day. So I'm going to purchase one more, I'll say 50. So again the next day I'll go to the same market, I'll say I need a 10 packets, then I'm going to pay 500 rupees. Like this I'm going every day. So whenever you purchase a product in any business, you go to the billing section. The billing section people going to scan this product in their computer, right? They scan this product in their computer, they're going to generate the bill. The bill contains information about what is your purchase. So they scan this product in the computer and they're entering the information on the keyboard, then they generate this bill. How this bill is generating and what this why they're scanning this product and what happening once they enter the information in their computer. So once they enter the information, they want to store this information into a particular place that is called database. What is the data? A facts and figures is called data. For example, a fact. What is a fact? I purchased a milk packet. That's a fact. I paid a 50 rupees. That's a figure. Facts and figures is called a database, right? So they are tracking this information, how many milk packets they're selling per a month, and they're storing this information into a particular place called storage. So they're storing the data into a place. That's the reason we call it is a data base. Base is nothing but it's a base of the data available. Okay, so that's the reason we call it as a database. We're going to store all this information into the database. How the data will be storing in database? The data will be storing in the database in the form of table. A table contains rows and columns. This is the table. It's not only HANA database, you can take it any database. The data stores in the form of table. So we call it is a row and this is a column. Okay, so this particular thing is called column and this particular horizontal is called row, right? So every data will be like, it's going to be product name, quantity, price. So it's going to store all this information here. Okay, so we call it is we give one name for this particular table called sales table. All the sales information will be there. Like this, if you want to store the information for customers, we create one more table. It's going to be customer table, right? So if you want to find out which customer purchased the which product, we're going to join this customer table with the sales table. By joining this customer table and sales table, we're merging the data and we're displaying these two tables data in the form of one table, right? This is a storage. So every table is going to occupy some storage in the space. This is a basic overview of what is a database and what is a table and what is a data, right? Okay, so now let's come down to the little bit here. We're going to talk about Whenever I have a data, so I said data, right? So whenever I say data, data has been divided into two parts. One is going to be master data, other one is going to be transaction data. What is the difference in between these two? It's very simple. The master data is nothing but which we use for information purpose and we don't use for calculations. So no calculations and no changes. That is called master data. And the transaction data which we use for the calculation purpose and which keeps changes. Okay, the master data, we use it for information purpose, no calculations, no changes. Transaction data, which we use it for calculation purpose, it's keep changes. So what's going to be the difference in between these two? For example, let's say you take the master data. When you take the master data, for example, customer number. If I go here, customer number. For example, if you go to a Big Bazaar, any showroom, they're going to give you a customer number 1, 2, 3. For example, 1 is going to be Vamshi. Do you think they're going to change this customer number? Never. They never do it. And the next one is going to be customer name. I go to a Big Bazaar today and I say I need one milk packet. When I go to the billing section, sir, what's your name? I'm going to say Vamshi. Tomorrow I go to the same shop. I'm going to purchase the same product. Again, I go to the billing section. They're going to ask me, sir, what's your name? Can I say something like Michael Jackson? No, I cannot change my name. That's not possible, right? Unless until if it is a big reason you have to change. So normally we don't change the name. Then if you have address, a phone number, right? Email ID. These things we don't change frequently unless until if there is a big reason for this, right? So these things are called master data, which we use for information purpose. What is the information? Hey, who is the customer number 1? Vamshi. I'm giving information. Okay, fine. So what about the no calculation? Can I do any calculations with the customer number? I can say customer number 1 by 100. We don't do this. What about Vamshi? I can say multiply Vamshi into 10. No. Address? No. Phone number? No. Email ID? No. So no calculations. What about changes? Just now we discussed. We don't change this information. That's frequent. Once in a while happens. For example, ladies are there. Once they get married, their initial, their surname get changes, the last name get changes. That's very rare, right? So that's like not for everyone. So that's called master data. When I go to the calculations, like a transaction data, we're going to use it for calculation purpose. Calculation purpose in the sense what? So Vamshi purchased a product name, quantity, price, bill. This is my table. What is the product name? Milk. What is the quantity? 1. Price 50. Bill 50. What I'm doing here? Quantity into price equal to bill. I'm doing a calculations, right? Which keeps changes. So tomorrow I got some guests or relatives. Do I'm going to purchase only one packet? No, I'm going to purchase 5 packets. Then what happened? So 5 packets in the sense quantity has been changed. It keep changes. The data keep changes. For example, let's say price, petrol. When you say petrol or gas price, it's keep changing, right? 87.5 today. Tomorrow it will be 78, and day after tomorrow it will be 90. The prices keep changing. So this kind of data we call it is a transaction data. And remember that the master data plus transaction data provides some meaningful information. We cannot display only master data. We cannot display only transaction data. We have to merge both of them. Then only it will produce a meaningful information. This kind of data set is required for any kind of business in the world, in the market. Every business, take it any business, manufacturing, hospitality, pharmaceuticals, you can say electronics, electrical, any kind of business, the master data and transaction data is going to be, it's like a very, like a common. The data will be divided into the two parts. Now, when it comes to the picture, so we're going to store all this data, every company is going to store this data into a database. Okay, so this is the place where exactly now we're discussing about why HANA, we're coming to the point. For example, let's say I'm going to store the data. Now you should ask me a question, what is the big deal in this? Okay, you're creating a data, you're storing the data in the database. So what is the big deal in this? Let's take Amazon. Amazon is selling millions of products per day, right? It's worldwide, millions of products. So they're getting a millions of record per day. Just imagine per day they're getting a millions of record. It's not even per day. If you ask me per hour, worldwide itself per hour they're getting a millions of records. In India itself, they're getting a millions of record per day. Millions of product they're selling. So their database is keep increasing the size. They're dumping the data. They're getting lot of data. Lot of data. Right? So now the Diwali is coming to the picture. It's a festival. So Diwali, they're going to make a sale. This sale is going to dump you additional data, lot of records again, because they're going to get lot of sales. So the database will be filled up with a lot of data. Is it a problem? No problem. They have lot of 1 TB, 2 TB or 10 TB or 100 TB. So storage is not a problem at all. Storing the data is not problem at all. Now the question is, they want to know that how many sales they made for Diwali. How many sales they made for Diwali for each day. Because nowadays the business analytics is very important and it plays a key role for any business. Why? Because they want to know that how the sales are happening, which product is moving fast, which product the customers are purchasing more, what are the like fast selling products. They have a lot of questions. Fast selling product, customer interest, okay, then what are the like it's going to be number of sales per hour. We need to answer these questions. If you want to answer these questions, then what we need to do, we need to get the data from the database and start answering these questions, because all these questions answered only based on the data what they're getting. How many sales? Because all the sales are dumping into database, I need to get the database, then I can find out how many sales. Which is a fast moving product, which product the customers are purchasing more, I have a data here, I can find out. So these questions, if they want to answer, we need to provide in the formats of a report. In the form of report, I need to provide the report. So how many reports I need to create? 1 report, 2 reports, 3 reports, since they have a 3 questions, right? So they're going to tell you that, hey, create a report and show me that what is a fast selling product. I'm going to extract this data from the database. I need to start providing the report on this one. But while extracting this database is dumping lot of records, like a plenty of records. There is a big problem is called data processing. What is the problem? Slow. All your old classic traditional databases, like you have a SQL, you have a Oracle, and you have like Sybase, you have lot of other database systems. It's available in the market for last 30 years. These all the databases are built 30 years back. So we can store the database no problem, but we cannot process the database as fast as we are expecting nowadays. So now the big question is going to be, why you bothering about the processing of the data now, because we are using this database for last 30 years. The reason why now, because the technology revolution. What is the technology revolution? Now we have a fast performance devices in hand. Earlier we don't have that. What is that? We have a mobiles, we have a iPads, and we have the tabs, laptops. These are all fast devices, like a fast performance devices. So if I open this, I need to see the report immediately. If I want to see the report, I need to fetch the data immediately. So where is the main point? This is the main point. Fetching is the main point. Displaying is not a main point. This is no problem here. Fetching the data from the database is a main problem. This is the reason exactly they started introducing to HANA. Now I'm coming back to the HANA. HANA is a database. So why SAP introduced this database? SAP has been introduced this database because there are certain problems in the existing products in the market, existing databases in the market. So what is the problems? I can see if any company wants to introduce their product, they cannot blindly introduce. If there is a huge competitor, it's already available. For example, let's take a mobile phone. Apple, before introducing the Apple iPhone, the king of the phones earlier was Nokia. It's a leader in the market. So iPhone did not introduce the Apple did not introduce the market into the iPhone blindly. They started researching on the phones, devices, market, and everything. They came up with a unique concept called touch screen and fast performance, you call the RAM or chip or whatever it is, hardware. That's the reason Apple become a market leader in the market in a very less time. Now there is no more Nokia. Apple is occupied the market. The top selling products in the market is going to be, one is Apple, other one is Samsung. The Apple is a leader. Though it is very expensive, the people are buying. So they're doing a lot of research. They don't want to go blindly. SAP did the same thing. What is the problem for existing? Because if I want to introduce a database into the market, there are already databases in the market. They are leaders, SQL, Oracle. If I go again to the market, say, hey, I'm also going to introduce the database. People say, we have already a database. I don't want to go like that. First, I need to find out what are the existing problems in those products. If I can fix into my product, the new product, then I'll become a leader in the market. So they started concentrating on the problems existing. The problem is massive growth of data volume. What is that? It's keep increasing the data every day, and immediate results people required, like a fast fetching, reading the data from the database, processing the data from the database as soon as possible. They need a skilled workforce to manage this kind of databases, complex system landscapes, high flexibility. So let's talk about one by one. For example, let's say massive growth of the data volume. Let's go look at for this. The data volume is going to be here so much. For example, see this image. This particular person is carrying a lot of products into one particular vehicle. It's like a huge volume of the data. It's a huge volume of the products. So the vehicle capacity and the products, the quantity is both. If you compare, the quantity is more than the vehicle capacity. Then what happens? Obviously, you cannot drive the vehicle as fast as possible. The driving of moving the vehicle will become very slow. The reason, because it is not going to hold, it is not going to manage this much load, the capacity of the particular vehicle. That's called data explosion. So whenever you say you have a lot of data, the database performance automatically decrease, right? So for example, let's take here, I have a survey for 60 seconds what happening in social media. I'm just first taking what's happening in Facebook. 60 seconds is nothing but it's going to be 1 minute, right? It's going to be 1 minute. In 1 minute, there are 695,000 Facebook status. Okay, and what about the YouTube? In 1 minute, they're getting a 60 plus new videos. The duration is going to be 25 hours. Oh my God, that's a huge volume of the data. They have to store this data in the database. Every minute they're getting this many new videos, right? And go back to the emails, Gmail and all the mails. It's 168 millions are sending for 1 minute. Too much, right? So if you take all these things, the YouTube and all this stuff, they're getting a lot of videos, right? So 25 hours of duration video they have to dump into the database system. For example, let's go back to 2004 when this YouTube has been introduced to the market. I still remember in 2004, whenever I open YouTube, I used to see only 5 minutes of official trailers. 5 minutes. 5 minutes is going to be only English movies, like Hollywood movies. Movie trailers were there. And that is also you need to say, earlier we used to say one circle, buffering, 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 place. Again, buffering, buffering, it will be circle. It stops the playing the video, then it plays. What is the meaning of that? 2004, the internet speed, what the customer has, it's a very less. 2004, the infrastructure, what YouTube has also very less. At the time, whatever the latest hardware available, they were using that only. So they're not able to load or they're not able to process the data more than 5 minutes, right? So then the time has been increased. Then what happens is, if you see, the viral videos has came to the picture. Viral video, for example, let's say Gangnam Style. This has been watched by worldwide the millions and billions of people. That is a single video. This single video has been watched for all over the world. Then what happens if you take a YouTube? YouTube has to process the single video for each and every customer. Each and every customer, one single video, they have to process on time. The billions of customers. If they don't process on time, then all the customers will close YouTube and they go to another website. If they close the YouTube, then they're going to get into a big loss. They're not getting any revenue because every video they're getting a revenue because playing the advertisements. So the problem is the processing the data on time to the customer. If it is not possible, then you're going to lose the revenue. That's a business right now, right? So they have to process the data on time. The customers will get more customers, they get more revenue. So the huge volume of the data, the dumping every minute, they're getting 60 new videos. The dumping and storing the data is not a problem. They have to process all the videos to all the customers, each and every single customer worldwide. If you get this much data, that's going to be a big problem, right? So we need to handle this data. We need to process this data on time. So HANA stands for High Performance Analytical Appliance. It is a database system, relational database management system, or DBMS, just like MySQL, Oracle, SQL Server, and HANA. So like other database system. Okay, but what is the difference in between comparing these database systems and HANA systems? So these database systems, if you take it and comparing with HANA system, it is in memory. It is in memory. What is in memory? In memory is nothing but all the data is going to store in the memory and process from the memory. Oh, is it going to store all the data in the memory? What about the hard disk? I'm coming to that point. So once you store the data into the memory, in memory is nothing but all the data stored in the memory, that's called RAM. And once you store the data in the memory, there is no time wasted loading and processing the data from hard disk. It's very simple, guys. If I go to now the question you have, is it going to store the data in the hard disk? For example, I have a computer. The computer has CPU and it has hard disk, right? the hard disk is going to store the data. There is a file, for example, my CV is there in the C drive. If I want to read the CV, when I click on this open, it goes to the RAM first. That's called memory. From the RAM, it's going to display in the output on your monitor, right? So it is processing the data from the RAM, from the hard disk to the RAM. It's going to be memory. The CV comes to the here. Once it comes to here, then CV is going to display here. The time it's from hard disk to the RAM, it's processing, it is taking a 95% of time. Once it reaches to the RAM, it is taking only 5% of time. Oh, it is the faster. This is where exactly SAP started focusing on this. So the data always processing from your hard disk through the any processor, then it is processing to the RAM. Once it processes, it is like producing, or it is displaying the output within a no time. That's going to be only 5%. So the main key role is the RAM. They got an idea what happens in case if I store the data in the RAM. Storing a data into the RAM, then it becomes a faster. If you store the data into the RAM, it becomes a 95% faster to processing your data, because I don't need to read the data from here. I can directly read the data from here. Now the big question is, the RAM is only a temporary storage. It's not a permanent storage. What happens whenever you switch off the computer or restart the computer? Then what happens? You're going to lose all the data here. If you're going to lose all the data, the business collapse. People say goodbye to you, right? SAP said, don't worry, still the data is stored in the hard disk. Oh, how? Whenever you store the data is going to be storing in the hard disk. Whenever you restart or start your system, the data first initially process to the RAM initially. So whenever you restart the system, all the system tables, there are certain system tables, okay, these will be automatically loaded into the memory whenever you restart or start the system initially, first time. So once you got all the data processed to this, there will be cache. So the data is available here. For example, let's say I have 100 tables here. 100 tables are not going to load into the RAM. So if you set up out of this 100 table, I set up 5 tables like auto load. We have a setup. We're going to discuss about this one. These 5 tables, whenever you restart or start the system, automatically loads, because these are the tables I said that auto load. Free flag, we can set up a flag. So fine. What about the 95 tables, sir? 95 tables, if you take any table, if you want to read the data out of this 95, any table, whenever you start reading the data, it is going to load from initially into the memory plus 1 table. So once it loads, the system is going to always accessing from here, not from here. It's already loaded. Only one time it has to load to the memory. Once it load to the memory, it is going to create a cache memory. That's nothing but you already loaded. The loading time, first time whenever you read the data, it is going to be little bit slow. The second time onwards, if you read the same data, it becomes much faster because it's already available in the memory. So even if you switch off the system, if you restart the system, still we are not losing the data. The data still is available in your hard disk. Whenever you restart, automatically whatever the tables you set up for auto load and everything automatically load into the memory. So this is the one of the beautiful, right? So we no need to worry. So we always reading the data from the CPU. Then it becomes a much faster. It's like a 95% it is a faster. So this is a concept of how they design the HANA database system. Okay, so let's move to the next topics, like how we can use this HANA. I can use this HANA only a database? No, I can use the HANA as a data mart, and I can use it as a database. I can use it as an accelerator, like a speed performance. I can use it as a cloud HANA, cloud storage. I can use it as a mixed approach, database plus data mart, mixed approach. And I can do some development native HANA applications, non-native HANA. Native HANA applications, we're going to use like using all the native HANA tools like SQL script, and we're going to use like procedures and all this stuff to design and develop CVs, calculation views and everything. Then in a non-native HANA, I can still develop a Java applications, Python. These are all the not HTML, XML. I can develop all these applications by using these languages. That's not belongs to HANA. That's the reason we call it a non-native HANA applications. So HANA is, we're not going to use HANA as only a database. It is a multi-purpose. Fine. What is a data mart? A data mart is nothing but I'm going to use HANA. For example, I have other systems like SAP Business Suite, SAP BW, non-SAP systems like SQL, Oracle. I have a data, all these systems, I can extract the data into HANA. I can dump the data from Business Suite, nothing but ERP system. Then I can dump into HANA. SAP BW, yes, I can get the data into HANA system. HANA is going to be a database system. So I'm using as a data mart. Once it comes to the HANA, I can connect all this data, all the data models like a BW, ERP, non-SAP systems, SQL, Oracle. Then I can create a data models by using a views. Then I can present these views for the reporting tools like a business objects, Tableau, Power BI, all the systems. That's going to be data mart. Okay, so what else I can do on this one? And you can use it as a database system. A lot of people are asking me, what is a S4 HANA? And people are talking about BW for HANA. And they're talking about ABAP on HANA. What is these things? See, HANA I can use as a database system, backend system. For OLAP, online analytical processing system, we're going to discuss this tomorrow. Online transactional processing system, we're going to discuss this tomorrow. So for these two systems, I can use as a backend database. What about BW? 7.3. It was BW on HANA. It's a backend database. SAP ECC, earlier it was on HANA. SAP BW and ECC, I can install BW into ECC system. It's like integrated. I can use it as a HANA as a backend system. What is S4 HANA? This ECC becomes a next generation ERP after they introduced the HANA. They made lot of changes to the HANA related changes. They made this as a new product called S4 HANA. It's again a next generation of ERP. BW for HANA, earlier they used to call BW on HANA because it was a backend system. Now they made lot of changes in the BW system. The most of the data modeling activities can be performed inside the HANA Studio, not anymore into your database BW system. So the lot of new features has been introduced related to HANA. They made it BW for HANA. It's only for HANA. ABAP HANA, I can write directly ABAP programs on HANA system. Then it is going to be more performance optimizations. So I can use HANA as a database system also. Okay, so let's move again. Accelerator. What is accelerator? Earlier we were using SAP ECC system on Oracle or SQL. This was the two database system, non-HANA database systems. It was running very slow. When they introduced HANA, they made it HANA as a secondary database. So they're extracting the data from Oracle or SQL into HANA. Then they're making HANA as a secondary database system for reporting purpose. Then they can create reports on much faster. This accelerating the performance, right? This is called accelerating the HANA. I can use HANA also like this. Okay. Now let's come to the point here. What is the difference in between the old classic existing database system and the new HANA database system? I was talking about complicated landscape, high skilled labor, high skilled workforce, high flexibility. I'm going to answer those things here. Let's take about Oracle. or SQL. It's an old existing database system. A business user required a report. How many sales we made in the month of August? All the data stored in the database. So in the real time, we don't give direct access to the data in the database. So what we do, we dump the data through the operational data store, ODS. The data is available here. You can connect the data from here, not from here. We don't give direct access, because if the people will change anything, it will be a big problem. So from ODS, we can use ETL tool, extraction, transformation, loading tool, to extract the data into business warehouse or data warehouse system like BW, SAP BW. We create indexes like ascending order, descending order. Why? If you create indexes, the search will become much faster in the database. We create aggregates. Aggregates in the sense, one customer is purchasing milk 50 times. Do I need to display 50 records? No, I can make milk quantity 50 like this. That's called aggregation, summarization. After that, I'll connect to a reporting tool. We'll do in a calculation engine, we process the data, then we'll give it to the business user. That's a report. If you observe here, the data is processing from the bottom to top level through many systems. This is a ODS. This is a database. This is a BW. This is a reporting tools like a business hub, like I can say Power BI or Tableau. How many systems? 1, 2, 3 systems. How many licenses? 3 licenses. How many skilled workforce I need? 1 DB database admin I need, database developer I need, BW guy I need, a reporting guy I need, for example, Tableau Power. So 3 employees are required. Okay, so I given a report here. The next day, what happens is, Diwali, for example, let's say Diwali sales. Diwali sales, first I got 500 sales. Then I provided a report 500 sales. Immediately I got a 10 sales. The time I create this, time I got the data and I process the data for reporting and producing an output, has to process all the systems. It takes some time. The time it reaches to the reporting level, it takes some time. That is called latency between the data creation and analytical. There is a late because it has to go through all the systems. And how many systems I need to purchase? 3 systems. Expensive infrastructure. There are chances for duplicate and slow. What happens in case one system get collapsed? One system got crashed, not working. Nothing works. If one system got collapsed, we cannot produce anything until if you don't fix this one. It's complicated landscape, right? Come back to the HANA system, new HANA system. The data stores again in the database as it is like your old system, but the data is storing directly into the RAM. It is going to work as a data warehouse system. Indexing is automatic, aggregates and everything is done, directly produced into your reporting tool. Up to 1000 times faster because it is in the memory. You get a 500 sales plus 10 sales. 10 sales we are not processing through complicated landscape. It's only one database called HANA database and reporting tool. Only 2 systems. Then this is no complicated landscape here. No ODS, no indexes, no data warehousing system. Directly RAM. It's going to store directly, immediately it is going to store here. Then immediately I'm going to display here 500 plus whatever records you come, it is a real time. We have a real time data extraction. That's the reason it's 1000 times faster comparing with your traditional database system. No optimization required. You don't need to do any indexes and all the stuff. Compression. More data in the less space. What does it mean? More data in the less space. I have, for example, 1 TB space. 1 TB, whenever you load 1 millions of records, it's automatically compressed. What is a compress? all the repeated records. For example, milk packet, 50 times. It's make it as a one record, 50 quantity. That's called compression. Whenever you compression in 1 TB, I can store maximum 25 TB of the data. Less space, more data. Faster business intelligence. So if I give a chance to you, which product do you want to purchase? Every customer saying this. That's the reason there is a lot of HANA implementation is happening. All the businesses are moving to the HANA. Now this is the difference in between traditional database system and the HANA database system and the purpose. Fine. Hope so, guys. We got some basic information on this today. So you can go ahead and shoot it to me. Any questions if you have. I'm going to open all your mics. I'm going to open all your mics. Your mics are open. You can speak. All your mics are open. Let me again unmute one by one. I'm unmuting one by one. Yeah. Yeah. Your mics are unmuted. You can click on unmute. Yes. Any questions you have, you can go ahead and shoot it to me. Yeah, I can hear the noise from the people. Yes, go ahead.
Hi, Vamsi. This is Satyanarayana.
Yes, Satyanarayana.
I have one question on this one. It's purely it is database one or like in SAP, do you have any application to run the business applications in with HANA?
Yes, we're
How
going
it
to
will
get
be like?
all the data from SAP database system only.
Okay, HANA Studio like that only it will be there?
Yes, I'll come to that point. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Let me explain. Okay. Guys, I would like to request, please go on a mute, rest of all people. I got a question here. So this is going to be your HANA, SAP, ECC, or ERP, or S4 HANA. This is a business suite. All your SD, MM, HR, etc., data gets stored here. This is a HANA. We're going to use it for analytical purpose, right? So we're going to extract the HANA from ERP systems and non-SAP systems like SQL, Oracle, Teradata, blah, blah, blah. We're using ETL tools like a BODS, okay, or SLT. It's a real-time replication, SDI, okay. So we get the data into HANA from all these systems and we'll connect the data and produce data models. Yeah, clear, Satyanarayana? Yes.
Yes.
All you might.
Yes.
Okay.
Now I can get an idea on this one. Yeah, thanks for clarification.
No problem. Any more questions? Yeah, all your mics are unmute. Is it clear for everyone today's topic? You got at least a basic idea what is HANA? Everyone? Can I get a
yes, Vamsi.
Yes, you got some basic idea what is HANA? Easy to understand the subject?
Yeah, little bit tricky of the database, like because of we don't use much in SAP, so little bit tricky, but it's going means it'll be easy for us when
Yeah,
you
today
start.
is the first class. We introduce you what is a database. We're going to
Yeah.
talk more in coming session. Yeah. Fine. Okay, guys, a lot of people are asking one more question. So what is the duration is going to be? Duration is going to be it's around 40 days, or I can say 40 days. It will be like 35 hours maximum. You can get it to 40 hours if you have a lot of questions. Okay, 35 hours is maximum for this, and the fee is going to be 15,000. And you're going to get in the fee 2 months server access. I would like to request go on a mute. It's a lot of noise. Server access. Yeah, server access you're going to get, plus daily class videos you're going to get, and plus interview questions, and plus daily notes, the materials you're going to get it. This is the 15,000. And the project will be starting from the beginning of the codes. Like we're going to take a scenario, the data, and I'll give you the requirement. Guys, I would like to request, please go on a mute. Please mute yourself if you're not speaking. Please mute yourself. Yeah, thank you. So the project-based training, what does it mean? It means that it's not simply teaching the subject like A, B, C. I'm going to teach the subject like in real time. If they give work, any data, how you going to implement? How you going to implement? Then what is a procedure like a landscape, like SDLC? SDLC is nothing but development server, quality server, and production server. Development, quality, production server. Then how we transport the objects, because these are all purely real-time topics. Nobody is going to teach you in any institutes. I can give you that guarantee. If you want, you can attend the demos or classes in other institutes. You can compare the difference. This SDLC I'm going to teach you because once you get into the job in any company, you need to know these things. It's a mandatory. If you're not aware of these things, you got stuck up. You design the data models, but you don't know how to transport the objects. You're going to ask the people, hey, can you help me how to transport? People look at you, man, you don't know anything about HANA. So, right, we need to know that. That's the reason we call it's a project-based training. We're going to talk about like all the work activities, how we can do in the project. Of course, we're going to design one project based on the real-time data. I'm going to take a real-time data from SD, sales and distribution, MM, these modules. I can take the data, I can show you in real time how we do it. That is called project. It's a project-based real-time training. And once you get the activity or any task or work, what are the important things? They're going to give you technical specification documents. What is that? Functional specification document. What is that? How these two things are related to my project, my work. How we can understand, how I can start designing, how I can begin, how I can start the work, then how I can complete the work. After completing, what is the procedure? Moving, just moving is like a complete? No, quality. What is a quality? Validation, data validation, and checking all your objects are working properly or not. Production moment, what happens? Change management will be there. What is the change management? If you want to move any object to the production, we need to get approval from change management. Oh, what is that? Nobody is going to teach you in any institute, right? This is the biggest advantage. This is the difference in between my training and other training. I can guarantee you, go and find out in other people, ask them, sir, are you going to teach SDLC? Are you going to teach what is a change management? Are you going to teach what is a data validation? Ask any institute in the demo class. If you get answer yes, let me know. 100%, 99.9% you get answer no, we're not going to teach. We're going to teach only subject learning. Good, but if a learning subject plus project based training, that is advantage comparing with other people. But this fees is going to be same like other institutes. You're getting more here. and other institutes what you're getting, you can decide yourself. Yeah, any questions here? Any questions? All you want? Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, Vamsi. Actually, recently I started my career with the SAP PM. So, will I get it any real-time scenarios in this classes? SAP PM plant maintenance.
I cannot give you all other modules. We are talking about HANA. The subject is HANA. HANA related all real-time concepts. Yes, you're going to get 100%. SAP has.
Even PM also will get it now.
I'm coming to the point. I'm coming to the answering
Yeah.
it. You are doing PM.
Yes.
Some other person will say I'm doing SD. Some other person will say I'm doing HR. I cannot give you real-time scenarios on 40 plus modules, right? So it is like a people to people requirement. That is not possible in anywhere. So you don't need to worry about what you are learning. You need to worry about what is a process, procedure. Let it be any module. Let it be SD, MM, PP, HR, FICO, anything. But how do you get the data? How do you design the data? That's important. See, I'm getting the data from SD and MM. If it is a PP, I'm going to get the same way the PP data also, right?
Yes, correct.
If it is a HR table also, I'm going to get the same data. It's all, every module has a data only, right? Tables.
Yes. Because in my project, one guy is a HANA, but he doesn't have knowledge on the PM, but he is doing like tables, like reporting purpose only he's doing. Where we are giving our requirements to that guy, and he is preparing the reports and give it to us.
But see, since you have experience in PM, plant maintenance, you know what are the tables, right?
Yes.
Then it will be a piece of cake for you.
Okay, fine.
So you need to take care of your PP tables knowledge. Then rest of all, I'll take care of it.
Okay, sure.
How you can move them, how you can design them. You'll become, see, you have already, see the guys, the biggest advantage for the people who is already working in any SAP module, it is going to be biggest advantage because they already have a knowledge, experience. Simple, they need to know. It's completely graphical user interface. 90% it's completely drag and drop. 10% only program. And that is also SQL. Very easy SQL script. Anybody can learn. Right?
Okay.
90% will be drag and drop. It's you can use mouse only. Yeah. Any more questions?
So when it will be start actual classes?
Tomorrow.
Like, from tomorrow. So what's the timings?
Same time.
Same time. Okay.
Yeah. Next question. Anyone?
Sir, I shared HANA admin also is there.
Yeah.
So will you teach?
This is a development. Okay. We're learning a development. Admin is nothing but installing servers and installing like creating users, security. These things comes to the picture admin. But we're going to develop the models, data models. We're called HANA native developers or HANA modeling consultant. Okay, this is the development course, sir. Yeah. Any more questions? Any more questions? So anybody interested, you can send a mail to hana.batch09@gmail.com for the payment details. The batch is going to start from tomorrow onwards at the same time. And I'm going to give you from today onwards, like a next till 3 days. It's a fourth day, right? Today is including today. It's Tuesday for you or Wednesday. Wednesday for you in India. So you can attend Thursday, Friday, Saturday, free of cost. Okay, no need to pay. But Saturday you have to pay in case if you want to continue from Monday onwards. So I'm giving you 3-day free of cost. Look for the quality of training and look for the teaching If you like it, you can pay it and you can join it. So that flexibility is there. Any more questions?
We need to pay at a time one time, or like
Yes,
we
sir. It's
can pay
going to be,
like monthly
going to
wise, like 2 months.
it's not a 2 months course, right? It is only 35 hours.
Okay, so we need to pay at a time,
So you need to
one
pay
time.
one. But I can give you 3 days of time. Look for the teaching style, quality of training. You can, whether you can understand the subject easily or not, you can decide. If you like it only, you can join. And by the today's demo sessions, you can by this time, after attending the demo session, before attending the demo session, what is your knowledge level? After the class, what is your knowledge level? You know what is the difference, right? You can teach anyone what is a HANA. You can explain anyone what is a database, what is a table, what is a master data, and what is a transaction data. You can explain to anyone, right? If you go out, hey, I just attended a demo session, HANA. Oh, what is that? You can give all this information to him. That is how the quality of teaching and the teaching style. Yeah. Any more questions? Any more
Sir,
questions?
will you cover ABAP and HANA also?
No, sir.
Entertain.
That's a different course, right? ABAP HANA is going to be different course. The course is going to be only HANA development. In HANA development, what we're going to teach? We're going to teach you completely HANA modeling. In a HANA modeling, lot of topics will be there, like a calculation view, attributes view, analytical views. Then we have like a decision tables, procedures, functions, and everything. Then HANA SQL script. In SQL script, we're going to teach you how to write the script like a store procedures, table functions, Windows functions, these things. The other concept is going to be data provisioning. Data provisioning, we're going to learn about SDA, SLT, bots. Bots is not going to be complete. It is going to be related to HANA because bots is a big course again. SLT, SDA, bots, like a flat file loading, right? Then what else? This is a SLT real-time loading. SDA, SLT, bots, flat file, load. These are all the data extraction. Data provisioning is nothing but data extraction, data modeling, and programming. So these are the 3 parts we're going to learn. 1, 2, and 3 parts. Okay? Yeah. We have another 3 minutes of time. Any more questions? Is it clear for everyone? That's question I want to get answered from everyone. If you can unmute your mic and you can speak, otherwise you can send a message to me. Is it clear for everyone? Yes or no? Today's topic and today's subject.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I
clear.
got only one yes. You got some concept today, you got some subject today?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
is it easy to understand the teaching or is it really complicated? Easy to understand the subject? Yeah. Guys, if you observe that English is going to be very simple English and anybody can understand. And I have one request for all the people, whoever is attending the training from tomorrow onwards, please be yourself into a place where is a no disturbance in surroundings. Don't sit in front of TV. Don't sit next to your kids because they cannot concentrate on this. At the meantime, if you try to asking questions, there will be lot of noise. Why don't you go to a room where there is no one is available? You are the only, because you're learning a subject. Take it a very serious. I see a lot of people are sitting in front of TV. There will be TV volume. They ask a lot of questions. So don't do this one because you can learn nothing. You cannot concentrate on this, first of all. So whenever you attend a class, be yourself to focus on the class, to listen each and every topic, what the teacher is speaking. That's very important. If you have a lot of noise surrounding, your focus, your concentration goes on to the noise and kids. There is no use of it, right? After, it's only 1 hour class. After 1 hour, you can spend a time with your kids or family, whatever you want. But this 1 hour, please be yourself without any noise surroundings you. Yeah, go ahead, guys. Questions?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
I have the gap, lot of gap. I will start the fresher. Uh, how to start that the gap period?
It's okay, ma'am. If you have a gap and if you want to start as a fresher, no need to worry about the gap and don't need to show the gap. You can make it as a fresher profile. Okay? You can mention as you're trained in HANA. You have a subject in HANA. You can create a profile based on the HANA, what you learn, point 1, point 2, point 3, and all this stuff. Mention your skills. You can apply as a fresher.
Are you helping the resume, sir?
Yes, of course. I'm going to give you all the sample resumes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. So if you have any more questions, still we can speak tomorrow. If you are interested, please send a mail to this mail ID. Then I'll be sending you a daily meeting links to you. Okay, you will receive a meeting links for every day. Tomorrow we're going to meet again for the class 2. Okay, thank you guys. Have a wonderful day. We'll meet tomorrow. See you.